Hey, this is Russell Moore, and this is Reading in Exile. I have my Harry Truman bobblehead with me today. Dewey defeats Truman because today is the 75th anniversary of VE Day, victory in Europe, when the Allies defeated the Axis powers, Nazi Germany, and Europe was liberated in World War II. And maybe we'll do a Reading in Exile on Truman sometime. I have a real interest in Truman, so maybe we will. But today, thinking about the defeat of the Nazi regime caused me to think about Philip K. Dick's The Man in the High Castle book, which is an alternative history, and there have been several of these, but an alternative history of what would reality be like if the Axis powers had won, and particularly what would have happened in the United States of America. So Philip K. Dick has this scenario where the United States, North America, is divided up. And so you have the western part of the country is occupied by the Japanese Empire, the eastern side by the Nazis, and then there's a neutral zone out west in Colorado and so forth. But there's a book that's coming out, The Grasshopper Lies Heavily, or The Grasshopper Sleeps Heavily. I'm forgetting the name of it right now. It's on the tip of my tongue. But a book that comes out from this mysterious man in the high castle that gives an alternative history of the Allies winning. And so this was made into a series by Amazon Prime, very different. Takes some of the same characters, but very different from the Man in the High Castle book because, well, for a lot of reasons, but one of the reasons is it's not a book, but it's reels, film reels that are coming in of Allied victory. Now, one of the things about Philip K. Dick, if you look at... He does all sorts of books that do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep and other books like this that have been made into movies like Blade Runner, Minority Report, and those sorts of things that have been really influential in American life. I think Adjustment Bureau was a Philip K. Dick book, if I'm not mistaken. But really strange guy. If you read a biography of Philip K. Dick, really pharmaceutically enhanced, you might say, and also involved in all kinds of religious speculation that can be really sort of bizarre. You see a lot of that in here. One of the key factors in this book is the I Ching. So ancient Eastern mysticism plays itself in here. But the thing that's probably most interesting about this book and about books like this is that idea of alternate realities, of what Philip K. Dick was imagining at the time is something that now has become theory for a lot of quantum physicists and others, of a multiverse, of every possibility sort of branching off into another reality in another universe. And in this, he has those realities interacting with one another. But also, I think, whatever you think about multiversal speculation, the understanding that things could have been different, that things could go in a different direction, and that each decision has sort of a cascade of implications for everything else, which means you can read this and have a sense of terror. What would happen if you had a world dominated by people as evil and bloodthirsty as the Axis powers, as the Nazi regime, if Hitler had been triumphant? And also cause you to have a little bit of gratitude to know he wasn't. Victory in Europe 75 years ago today. It's a little bit of good news in the middle of all of the bad. Let me know what you want us to talk about here in Reading in Exile in the comments, and I'll see you next time. This is Russell Moore.